Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Let's Play the Tune of Gaia. I'm the MysteriousJG. You may notice we're in a slightly different starting position. That's because I abandoned a video where I goofed something up, I went to load state, and then realized that I had totally fouled up my save states positions and didn't really have a state to load to that wasn't going to involve replaying a bunch of crap. So I ended up replaying, some stuff. And here we are, Tower of Babel. Take 1 for you, take 2 for me. So, yeah, I'm kind of annoyed right now. But frankly, if I tried to salvage that video, it just would have been a really bad video. So, oh, the flute. Okay, I missed that message, but this is his flute that he has. This is where it came from, I guess. You hold up the aura, but nothing happens, so you found a red jewel. So this is the last red jewel of the game. And in fact, we have to get to the save point before the final boss gives us the option to go back. And to do that, we have to get to the final boss before we can cash in that last red jewel. You cannot walk on the spikes and hurt yourself. Now it's time for plot. Huh? Something seemed to fall from the flute. It's King Edward's crystal ring. The crystal ring is being built 1,000 girls. I thought it was a decoration, but it had been hidden there. See, no wonder he's looking for it. It's his ring, too. Should have just given it to him at the beginning of the game. We have the crystal ring. So we need to equip the crystal ring in order. Ring hidden in the flute. This is the crystal ring that King Edward is looking for. We have to equip it to pass through the beams. But then something strange happens. Wait. Kara? I'm sorry, I just feel that if we part now, we'll never meet again. But Kara, why have you come here? You can't come here unless you have the crystal ring. So that's, that's the thing. Could that be the ring? Didn't you find it in the ink and gold ship? This crystal ring is dark blue. The ring you have is light blue. A light one and a dark one. The dark one? I understand. No matter what happens, don't leave me. Okay, so you're okay with me being here now, huh? Alright, whatever. The light released from the comet has a profound effect on the growth of living things. When the stars near Earth's orbit, all living things experience a dramatic evolution. An evolution, a revolution. Dark Knight Ferdinand's statues all over the place here. The evolution of living things took a long time. From insects to fish, from reptiles to mammals, then humans were born. That's right, folks. That's how evolution works. Insects, over millions of years, evolved into fish. Then fish turned into reptiles, and reptiles turned into mammals. Pretty much. Although, I guess that's a kind of a weird and confused way of explaining how evolution works. At the same time, I have heard someone try to disprove the theory of evolution and prove creationism by stating that, well, if man evolved from apes, then why are there still apes? That proves there's no evolution. So, people have a right to their opinion, I guess. That's how human beings have evolved, from insects to fish. For ancient times, gods have been called the spirits of stars, but also the demon of stars. Wait, what? The one now nearing the Earth is a demon of stars. The comet is the highest form of consciousness. Really? I thought it was a chunk of ice. The Earth will evolve beyond imagination. I thought comets were mostly made of ice, rocks and ice. Kara, are you getting any of this? Or is it making sense to you? Not a word. I'm not hearing I don't even hear these spirits that you're talking to. You hear voices in your head. They counsel you. They understand. They talk to you. The passage of time is different inside the Tower of Babel. Time races by. You're not normal human beings because you can live here. You're freaks. In that room, a demons evolve by the light. You must put them to sleep before you can go up. And thus we get our chance to save the game. And I was under the impression, like my vague memories of this from a long time ago, was that the end game was kind of not that big of a deal because you got plenty of chances to heal up. But no, in fact, the boss fight's a little bit of a gauntlet, but only after a certain point. It's weird. We're going to come to an elevator that you can only go up and not down. So until we get there, we can backtrack to this point and heal up. And this thing here, even with the Edward ring equipped, will not open until we will not open up for us until we defeat this boss Redux. So, I mean, spoilers that it's a boss Redux, but I think I'd mentioned quite a few videos ago that there was a boss Redux dungeon. And it all looks like that game, that arcade game that you can play during Live Alive in the Cube chapter. There's really no point in evading anything since you gotta heal up afterwards anyway. Just using the power of the ultimate Dark Warrior. Shadow, of course. You just kind of tank it and deal. And now this next boss, we will get an opportunity to heal after we fight it. And then suddenly things are gonna get weird. The circumstances begin to change. So I'm going to save state just because I got burned by not save stating in the last video, but in fact it shouldn't really be that big of a deal until we get to the vampire boss, because that, unfortunately enough, is the first boss where it starts to become a gauntlet. You can't heal up between fights. So you have to try to beat the vampire boss, which is the toughest boss in the game for me, with as much health as possible, because then you got to take on all the other bosses. So that guy, it's probably the best way to fight him anyway, is just to tank his attacks. I don't know if me racing around back and forth trying to dodge would have made a longer battle, and I probably still would have come out with about as much health. But just since we now know it's boss Redux Zone, so everybody knows, and I don't feel like I'm trying to hide anything. Where I got all screwed up and tried to load state was because I did a really poor job against the Mummy Queen Redux, which is odd because I found that boss really simple the first time we fought her. But suddenly I was really struggling against that boss and went to load state because I just wasted too much of the healing items. I was the whole game without using them, suddenly popping them like candy. But well, we don't really need aura for this fight. The only fight where I was trying to use aura, and that might be it, I was trying to use aura instead of jumping up and down different platforms in the room, and I think that was making it harder, not easier, with the Mummy Queen boss. Because yes, when I realized that I had screwed myself up with save states, I actually had to fight the Mummy Queen boss again in the main plot, original fight, and took almost no damage, even though I'd been struggling against her like crazy here for some reason. Anyway, we can't go back down, which is annoying. And there's no save points here. So this is the point where you do have to kind of tough it out, which means if you didn't save a bunch of herbs, this would actually be a fairly challenging endgame. Sadly, there is no Crystal Outer Space, the arcade game you can play from Cube's chapter of Live Alive version of... Oh, this super attack is still here. There's no, souped up version of Eric looking to get... Wow, that was actually fairly easy. This has gone pretty good so far. I didn't have too much trouble with this in my now lost video, but yeah, I actually came out of this better than I did there. But I didn't have to use a herb there either. So playing it in the main story, not realizing that, I guess per the comments, there was a long and more involved path that I'd have to take, but it would be possible to fight that as the Dark Knight for Dawn. Maybe with the Dark Knight for Dawn I could have avoided using herbs. But with the ultimate Dark Warrior Shadow, yeah, it's no big thing. Now this next boss is Antlion Redux, and he's just as big a pushover now as he was before. And I guess it's true what I was starting to suspect. Like, I remember this character being really powerful once he gets his ranged attack, but it being late in the game. Well, yeah, it is late in the game. It's only in the final boss fight that you actually get to use this ranged attack for this guy. Not sure exactly when he gets it, but, well, there is one last thing that I don't want to spoil that's coming up, so I keep trying not to talk about it too much. As far as, like, stuff that you can do. So that was weird. When I off-screened this, he spits out two things, and one of them turned into, like, an eyeball on legs. It was bizarre. But apparently, the one on the left does that, and I caught it and destroyed it before it hit the ground, and the one on the right just blew up. Kira's not here. Where did she go? Yeah, probably just went to the ladies' room. So, hey, you are a boss that we fought earlier. What's up? You were brought back to save Earth. I'll take you to the top floor. Remember, folks, the villain of this game is somehow an evil comet that is a demon of stars. Or something. It's not making that much sense to me. But let's see if we can't beat this mummy boss and do a little bit better with this than I was doing in all my off-screen nonsense. Which was meant to be on-screen nonsense. Because I sucked. And I think it was because I kept trying to avoid... I was trying to use, like, the warp technique to avoid attacks. Come down here where I can hit you, bitch. Because you have a few invincibility frames when you first teleport, which I didn't realize. So I was desperately trying to use the technique where you turn into like a pool of water on the floor. And that was actually slowing me down and making it so that I was getting cornered all the time. Whereas if you do this, you pretty much always evade successfully. So then you still have to like watch out for basic attacks, JG. And if you mistime this, you can't get hit. It's not impossible. But I kept trying to use this, and it's really not that... Because it just... You get stuck in place. Yeah, there I managed to take a hit, so... I'm not, like, super invulnerable. I'm gonna go ahead and use an herb, because I don't want to, like, take the risk of screwing this up. I got very frustrated by this fight in the video that has was deleted and will never be seen. It never got processed, and I want to go down that road again because this was a fairly painless boss fight at the end of the pyramid, and suddenly I made it really difficult for myself. I'm doing it again. She does like 2 full health bars per circles per hit, so you really can't get hit like I just did. Damn it. No, this is definitely, for me, this is tougher. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but this is harder than it was when I did at the end of the pyramid stage. Every other boss fight has been it's been easier because I get to play as Shadow, but somehow I'm having like a harder time evading her stuff. Now, of course, I didn't start this with full health, so if you go back and watch, I don't remember. If I lost more than half of my health, then I might be doing just as well as I did there. But I'm just forgetting the fact that I had less than half health left, so I'd lost as much as I did here. So this stuff comes from the ceiling. Okay, I got it. Well, she's not gonna let me hit her. Yeah, if we had our ranged attack, this would be way easier, because the part where I really start to struggle, other than, like I mentioned earlier, I kept trying to use the turn into a pool of liquid to evade instead of just dodging normal styles, is where she turns into, like, the spirit thingies start flying around in a circle and you have to hit the correct one. I was having a hard time figuring out how to do that without getting damaged. So it's working fairly well, but eventually she's going to switch to that. And there's a certain amount of luck, like if it's moving in the right direction. Ah, crap. Kind of switched up the pattern with when I hit her. Suddenly I wasn't prepared for it. Oh, shit. Damn, I'm falling apart here. Yeah, I've really got, like, I got out of my pattern and I'm all kinds of consternated. You attack her at the bottom and then, now it's this part. No, I had it. I need to save some. There is something that's worth saving some herbs for. But I also need to win this fight. So I got 3 herbs left. I'm really don't think I'm going to need any for the final main boss. But there's something else. Damn it, why are you doing this to me? Why couldn't you just be beaten already? What's going on with my... Why is my emulator... I clicked off of my... This is not good timing. I seem to have clicked off of my emulator at a very bad time. Now I just need her to come down here and be in range. I don't want to get hit by this stupid block falling attack. That would not be a good way to end this run. Okay. Used more herbs than I wanted to. It's getting very panicky there. But that's done. Go ahead and throw down a save state, too. Whew, yeah, I don't know if I was making that harder for myself than it really was or what, but been talking up how the game wasn't that hard, and people warned me it was going to get harder, and that was not really that bad. I think some of that was just me not being quite on form. But, I mean, we're not talking Ninja Gaiden here, folks. NES version, but still. Oh. I must be supposed to go over this way. My bad. I thought we were on the top floor. What gives? Hey, it's a Vampire Warrior. What's up, Vampire Warrior? Become, it will soon be entering Earth's orbit. We must go to the top of the Tower of Babel. But that other guy told you he'd already taken you. Bet you wish it was my wife manhandling you like this, eh? She'd be woman handling you, of course. Kira, where did you go? Oh, the female vampire carried me up to the top floor earlier. There was talk that the vampire woman had come. They say that her body is eternal. They say that once the comet is gone, she'll be able to rest in peace with the Undertaker. Okay, that's nice, but... There was talk that the vampire woman had come. Well, here's statues of Shadow the Ultimate Warrior. If you proceed, you will not be able to turn back. If you want to go to Tao, I'll transport you. Not just yet. You want to save. Looks like you're hurt. Close your eyes. The comet draws near. The time for your last battle approaches. This is the last time I will talk to you like this in this place. With your rejuvenated power, defeat the comet, Dark Gaia, and become the Dark Knight. Shadow's greatest power, the Firebird, will arise when you're one with the Light Knight. White Knights? Save me. Save for always. That's the way it should be. Only you can restore the Earth to its original condition. I'm putting all my faith in you. And we'll go ahead and do an in-game save. And continue our journey. And if we decide not to go cash in the last red jewel, in fact, going through that door would be the end game. But instead, we will return to Deo Village. Seems odd. But luckily, this guy can warp us right back. So let's see what's up with this guy. I'm the Jeweler Gem. I control the 7 seas. I'm holding 49 of the red jewels for you. What's your business? Get the red jewels. This is a rare jewel. Let me hold it for you. There are now 50 jewels in the room. There are now 50 jewels in the room. 50. Suddenly you've gathered 50 red jewels. The time has come to tell you some of my secrets. Follow me. And then mystical weirdness happens. And when I awoke, I was standing at the entrance to a strange mansion. And this timing is awful, because I would love to have started this with its own video, but we got 10 minutes left, so there's ghostly spirits. Oh, we are allowed to leave. Okay, so I guess you are allowed to leave the mansion, but there's some vaguely evil-looking dude there. There's 38 enemies and 1 treasure. And there's red versions of these weird dudes that were guarding the slave camps before. Actually, it looks like they're all variations on the slave camp enemies. Because that's where these beholders were. I remember asking all out of curiosity about, what can you tell me about real beholders? By real beholders, I mean imaginary beholders from a different fiction, because beholders are not real. I'm mopping up in here, man. Ooh, I guess you can't block their laser beams. Nope. Okay, so it looks like that is not a path where I can continue. What if we were to go this way? No, this is the entrance, so I guess I'm supposed to go that way. Somehow. It sure seemed like I was stuck, though. Oh, you came over here on this side. Maybe you were supposed to be on this side all along. Maybe I'm an idiot, and in fact, there was no block. Like, I thought, the little spectral thing has confused me. I thought this was like blocked off so you couldn't get through. It was just made irritating to pass through. Yeah, this is totally a redux of the mine. And it's being kind of difficult. So yeah, I guess the time to discuss this. This is a optional dungeon, which is extra difficult, that you only get if you get all 50 red gems. So I mean, it makes sense. It'd be pretty hard. I guess these guys didn't show up in the mines, did they? They're from like the first dungeon. I'm really hoping, and at some point, enemies start dropping those little HP replenishing items. gonna need the help. Well, we've defeated about half the enemies in this zone. And it's a pretty kooky looking zone too. Oh, what the hell was I thinking? I just completely didn't block at all. Yeah, it is most certainly worth using save states here. This place is difficult. Quite difficult. It is the hardest dungeon in the game. By design. It's the optional dungeon you only get if you collect all the hidden stuff, so it's supposed to be for people who've, like, really gone through and memorized everything in the freaking game. And I'm pretty sure we're supposed to take those guys out from the other side, so let's go to the other side. Break on through the other side now. I don't want to waste a bunch of healing items, though, because there will be a boss at the end of this dungeon. Meanwhile, you're like, so Jen the Jeweler, what is your deal? This is all pretty weird. I'm gonna tell you my secrets, the secrets of my crazy-ass demon mansion. I definitely remember losing in here a couple of times my first playthrough. I found an herb. And I actually didn't realize there would be a free herb in this place. So that is pretty good. That makes a pretty big difference. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to call it a video. And when we come back, depending on how long it takes to deal with this optional dungeon and defeat the final optional boss, we maybe... last video could just be the last video of the LP. Probably not. Might take out the optional boss and then take out the final boss and then have the video for the ending, or I'm not really sure. Either way, folks, see you guys next time.